First of all, everyone's going to have to mind the audio issues, the weird backdrop. I'm actually currently at my parents' house. I was kind of back home for Christmas break. The travel budget for myself did not allow me to go down to LSU for this game. But, ladies and gentlemen, Kenny Brooks gets his biggest win as the head coach of your Kentucky Wildcats, beating LSU 80-78, thanks to a Tonie Morgan game-winning three. I mean, of all the people, you have Amelia Hassett who can shoot it really well. Asia Boone had been lighting it up all game long, and it's oddly enough, Tonie Morgan, the career 23.5% shooter, who comes in and makes the three to win the game. And I don't know about you all, but Steven even texted me when it happened. When Clara Strack fouled on that three, right? When Clara Strack fouls on that three beforehand, I don't know about you, my heart, and I'm sure your all's too, just sinks to the floor and to the basement, to 800 feet below ground. When, first of all, I couldn't really tell. Looked like she barely even tipped her fingers. I don't know how in the world they call that. I believe it was Michaela Williams. Maybe it was Kayla, I don't remember, who goes and hits all three free throws. But then, again, Tonie Morgan, of all people, comes down, hits the three. Kentucky wins 80-78. Let me tell you, if you told me Kentucky won this game when the game started and Kentucky was down 14-2, and Kentucky comes back and wins that game, that's just absolutely remarkable stuff. Kenny Brooks you could hear the emotion in his voice after that win. I hate to go back and recall, some the more unfortunate moments from Kenny coaching, but Kim Mulkey has had Kenny's number, right? She beat him in the Final Four, beat him a couple times in the regular season, beat him last year after we got up big, after that Georgia Amore play. But Kenny gets it done on the road. And Kentucky is now 14-1. Again, their only loss is to number 7 Maryland, who, yes, they lost today. But back then, November 26th, Maryland was fully healthy and looking like a top 5 team. Kentucky right now looks like a top 5 team, right? It's just so crazy to me. Again, Tonie Morgan, I keep stressing that, she's the one that hits the three. Just absolutely incredible stuff. You look at just some of the stats. Kentucky only shot 43% of the field, 30 of 69, and the free throw shooting. Guys, I thought we were going to lose because of the free throw shooting alone. 12 of 22, that's 55% from the free throw line. LSU was 13 of 15, that's 87% from the free throw line. And, I think obviously the game-winning three, there's other factors as to why Kentucky won this one, but 45 rebounds to LSU's 29. I'm pretty sure LSU came into this one averaging 51 rebounds a game. And you get 45 rebounds to their 29, 17 of those on the offensive glass compared to LSU's 4. James Young in the chat says, great win tonight. This team is the real deal. Absolutely agree. I said this on KS board before right as tip-off was about to happen, and I said, look, we are going to figure out how good either of these teams are. And we learned tonight Kentucky can be a top 5 team. Kentucky, in year 2 of the Kenny Brooks era, right after Kentucky had won 12 games in back-to-back seasons, Kentucky just goes on the road and beats number 5 LSU. And what was a crazy environment, I thought it was a great post-game. Kenny was talking to Darren Hedrick on the radio, and he was saying how we want to keep LSU's crowd out of this game. And he's like, well, I think we actually did that, for the most part. But then Lane Kiffin walks in, and they go wild. But Kentucky gets the win. We got John Evans in the chat. Awesome win for the Lady Cats. Kim be wanting Lane's NIL money. Listen, I don't know the exact numbers on the NIL situations, really for either team. But I've got pretty good ballpark ideas. And I don't want to speak out of line because, again, I don't totally know. But I feel confident in saying LSU has at least 3 to 4 times the NIL budget that Kentucky has. And I don't think I'm speaking out of line here when I say I'm pretty sure Flau'jae Johnson might make more than the entire Kentucky basketball team. So, if that matters to you, all the more reason to go down there and win that game and it just be incredible, right? We got Skyrim in the chat. Lady Cat's got that dog in them. Absolutely. Tonie Morgan got that dog in her. And I want to talk about Tonie some more because obviously the game winning shot, right? But guys, look at her stat sheet. Played 39 minutes. I think the only time Tonie was out of the game was like towards the end of the third quarter, I think, when Tiani Key gives her that elbow and she like hurts her face. She's gonna have it's like Tyler Thompson said in our game thread, she's gonna have a really nasty black eye because it looked like it was her eye. But 24 points, 7 of 10 shooting from the field, 3 of 3 from beyond the arc. We talked about poor free throw shooting. She was 7 of 12, not necessarily, characteristic for her, but she did make 7 free throws. And then, again, my favorite stat, 12 assists, no turnovers. I mean, that is what a first-round WNBA draft pick does. When you sit there and you've got Raven Johnson, Rory Harmon, Kiki Rice, all these elite point guards in the country. No, damn it, Tonie Morgan is an elite point guard. 12 assists, no turnovers, game-winning 324 points. That is a top WNBA draft pick. And then Tiani Key, first game back from injury, after being hurt, after dealing with this nagging injury for so long, missed these last 2 games. What does she do in her first game back? How about 17 points, 16 rebounds for Tiani Key? Freaking Asia Boone, ladies and gentlemen, off the bench. Last year, she was at Liberty. This year, 18 points, 5 of 13 from the three-point line, 4 rebounds. And it's just like, again, with Asia, she, for a while, felt like this is the reason Kentucky's in this game. Like, she's the reason we're in this game, and it's just so nice to see. We got Austin in the chat saying, I can't wait to see them in person Sunday. They play Missouri. Former Kentucky Wildcats Nia Tyler transferred to Missouri this offseason. Former Tennessee coach Kelly Harper is their head coach. We got Big Blue Nate in the chat. Key with some of the most clutch rebounds you will see. Absolute facts right there. Have nothing else to say about that. We got some other people in the chat saying a fabulously exciting game. We're looking good. Nice work by Streck, not fouling out. Tonie really shined, and Asia's threes. And it's a really good point about Clara Streck not fouling out. Because Kenny, like he said in his post-game presser, or in his post-game with Darren Hedrick, he was like, I want to strangle Clara Streck sometimes. Or he's like, I wanted to strangle her at some points tonight because, like, why are you fouling on these kinds of shots? And then obviously there's the fouling on the 3 at the end, which I don't even totally know if that was a foul. But, yeah, kudos to her for not fouling out. But when LSU was making their run to kind of go up again late in the third quarter, it's because they were going at Clara Streck because she didn't want to foul. And then she turned up the heat on that end of the floor. Guys, Kentucky is known for being this elite shot blocking team. This might be my favorite stat from the entire game, to be honest. Kentucky is the best shot blocking team in the country. Averages like 10 blocks a game. Kentucky had 0 blocks tonight. 0. Like, they were kind of almost out of their element defensively in some ways. 0 blocks for the number 1 blocking team in the country, and they still find a way to win the game. Just absolutely remarkable stuff. Big Blue Nate again says Tonie is the engine of this team. She has clearly gotten more confident with her shooting, and that's an absolute fact as well. Again, just how exciting was that? Like, the Sugar Bowl is on my TV right now. I got my computer, my TV. You got Georgia up 21-19 on Ole Miss. Looks like it's been a good game. No reason this game should have been buried on SEC Network Plus. No reason this game should have been buried where I have 50 people DMing me saying, Phoenix, I can't watch the game. How do I watch the game? Phoenix, where's Kentucky playing? There's no reason that should be the case. We don't need, 3 different Skycast views, or we don't need Pat McAfee with his own channel, Josh Pate with his own channel. Like, you know what I mean? this game, a game of this caliber and a game that good, like even before you know how the game plays out, this game should have been on TV. We got Laura in the chat. Kentucky should move up in the polls with this big win at LSU. Absolutely. You got to win on Sunday because the way the polls work, they come out on Monday. So you got to beat Missouri on Sunday. You got to take care of business there. But if you beat Missouri, you are 15-1 with that win. Maryland lost. Michigan lost. Those are two teams that are ahead of you in the poll. Kentucky should move up, and I would expect them to move up into the top. Assuming they do take care of business, I would expect Kentucky to move into the top 10 finally this season. We got Bill in the chat. I think they called quite a few touch fouls, which got us out of sync sometimes, and yet we fought back and beat freaking LSU. Yeah, that's what it was. I mean, Clara Strack, again, she had 3 fouls early. She was sitting there, and again, like I tweeted playing soft defensively. Maybe that's not the right word to say, but you could tell like she wasn't going after the block. Like she was trying to be straight up and contest, but she wasn't being her usual self defensively. Austin again says all my games are watched via the Ryan Lemon YouTube method either way, which can't really blame you. You know what I mean? But ladies and gentlemen, Kentucky gets a massive, massive, massive win at number 5 LSU. Corey Price, shout out to him, provided us with the stat. This is Kentucky's highest ranked road win ever. It's their first top 5 win since beating South Carolina, number 1 South Carolina in the 2022 SEC Tournament Championship. And if you just want to divvy it down to regular season top 5 wins, you'd have to go back to when Vic Schaefer, the Texas coach, was at Mississippi State. They were number 3. Michaela Epps and that team beat them in 2017. So pretty incredible stuff by Kenny Brooks in just year 2. Kentucky beats Kim Mulkey and the LSU Tigers. I need to go and find some kind of Kim Mulkey press conference, and I hope she says something that can make us all smile, like add to the fun of the night. But Kentucky beats LSU 80-78. Guys, if you had fun watching this game, if you've had fun these last 12 and a half minutes, I highly encourage you. Like, comment, subscribe, and do all those wonderful things for us here on the KSR YouTube channel. If you are here, we're going to have a podcast early next week. Bill asks, is this really our best road win ever in the history of UK women's basketball? It is, if you go by just pure rankings alone. Like I said, we will be back here on the YouTube channel, like I said, early next week sometime. Let's go. We'll try to aim for like a Monday, Tuesday, depending on when the men play. That'll be more important. Gabe says, I hope we can up our NIL game to give KB all the tools to be and stay at an elite level. I think that's coming. I mean, to be fair, I think Kenny has a good amount of NIL. LSU is just on another level when it comes to NIL. Like, I'm pretty sure if they're not number 1 in terms of women's basketball NIL, they're top 3, right? So, regardless, Kentucky gets the win. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this KSR Rapid Reaction. Again, Kentucky wins 80-78 thanks to, Tonie Morgan game-winning 3. Again, like, comment, subscribe, do all those great things. Happy New Year's, BBN. What a way to win. What a way to go out. Kentucky 14-1.